daily user reviews. This is a $15 USB. It's a 64 gig USB by SanDisk with a USB-C on one side and a USB 3.1 on the other side. And in this video, we are comparing it to this $90 USB. It's a SanDisk Extreme Pro USB 3.1 solid state flash drive. This USB cost 129 Australian dollars. It has a capacity of 256 gigs. It claims to have a read speed of 420 megabytes per second and a write speed of 380 megabytes per second. So imagine the speed of an SSD, but with the form factor of a regular USB. In 2019, this SanDisk Extreme Pro USB is the first SSD USB I've seen on the market, and today we will test it. I'll be copying files from the SSD on my desktop into both USBs and we'll compare it at the same time, and then we'll take the same files and copy it back into the SSD on my desktop and compare those speeds as well. I've got an NVMe SSD by Samsung, the 960 Pro, so there won't be any limitations. Alright, let's get started. Our first test, we're copying 3.2 gigs of data into both USBs. And this will test the writing speed of the USBs. You can see the $90 USB is pretty fast. On average, it's writing about 300 megabytes per second. It completes this test in about 10.4 seconds. The cheaper $15 USB is still going, so let's take a look at it while we wait for the files to copy over. So on one side it has your regular USB port, and on the other side it has a USB-C port as well. So this USB-C port can be connected to a phone, which is very convenient when you want to transfer documents into your phone like this. Definitely a plus and a very good feature. One issue I had with this cheap $15 USB is when I try to plug it in and connect it to the computer, you can see it retracts, and it's annoying because it retracts before I plug it in properly. Now if we flip it to the other side, the side with the USB-C, it's very sturdy on this side, so it doesn't just fall back in. Compared to the side with the USB 3.0, it just boop, falls back in just like that. My fingers are on the other end. You can see I'm not holding it at all, it just retracts. So every time I plug it in, I need to hold that bit there, hold it tight, and then I can plug it in properly and it doesn't retract. So that's annoying. But hey, I'm only showing you guys this to waste time, just to show you guys how long it took to copy the 3.2 gigs. Going back to the test, the $90 USB copies the 3.2 gig files in 10.4 seconds right there. Our $15 USB took 1 minute and 48 seconds to copy the same amount of data. If we converted the times to seconds, the $90 USB is literally 1000% faster. That's an increase of times 10. Okay, let's test the read speed of both USBs. Copying the same files in both USBs back into the SSD on my computer. The $15 USB is reading at about 158 megabytes a second, whereas the $90 USB is reading about 360 megabytes a second. It completes it in 8.8 seconds. Here, the $15 USB completes it in about 20 seconds. Alright, let's compare both. The $15 USB took 20 seconds to read from the USB into the computer, but it took 1 minute and 48 seconds to write 3.2 gigs into the $15 USB. That's PC to USB. Whereas the $90 USB only took 8 seconds to read from the USB and about 10.4 seconds to write 3.2 gigs of data into the USB. Whether that $90 is worth it is really up to you and what you use the USB for. For someone like me, I transfer a lot of large video files, so for me it is definitely worth it, especially when I'm copying 30 to 50 gigs from my friend's laptop. Rather than taking an hour, it might only take 10 minutes. Actually, rather than assuming it takes 10 minutes, why don't we simulate it? So here I've got 28 gigs of Boruto Naruto The Next Generation, all in video format. I am copying from my Samsung 850 EVO from my old work laptop. While it copies, let's go through the quirks and features of the $90 USB. It has an aluminium case instead of a plastic case. It does feel very premium. Even opening and closing the USB like that feels very nice if you care for such features. It's very satisfying. It is spring-loaded, so when it reaches a certain point, the whole thing comes out. It makes a very nice click sound when you click it out or click it back in. Overall, it feels very sturdy from the aluminium case. It feels very nice to hold in your hand. And guys, I can't stop clicking it in and out. It just feels nice. Alright, so in the middle, it's plastic, and I guess you can describe it as a piano black kind of plastic. If we angle it to the side, you can see on the inside it's plastic, and the outside is the aluminium case. The inside plastic, as mentioned before, is more like a piano glass, whereas the outside aluminium case is more of a matte kind of feel. Let's move on to the disadvantages. So on the $15 USB, you just plug the USB-C into your phone. On this $90 USB, you're going to have to use one of these. This is a USB to a USB-C converter. Plug it in and then plug that into your phone. Then you can have access of a USB into your phone. So back to our simulation. It has finished and it copies 28 gigs in about 1 minute and 45 seconds. Keep in mind, our simulations in this video is assuming best case scenario where you are copying and pasting from a computer or laptop that has an SSD. If for whatever reason there's a mechanical drive in between, it will definitely not reach some of these speeds, especially the write speed, where you're copying from the hard drive into the USB. So guys, thanks for watching this video. If you found it useful, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more videos like this. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Like, comment and subscribe. And to see more user reviews, click that way. Let me know in the comments below what you guys want me to review next.